All Hallows Eve, the evening your nightmares come to life, all the creatures of the night come out to play. It's time to pay tribute to this terrifying month, so join us as we celebrate the sinister season. This is the Venom Month of Horrors.
Hello and welcome to the Venom Month of Horror. 31 days of pure terror in video form, and today we're looking at the Steven Spielberg classic that made us all afraid to go swimming, Jaws.
Okay, I'm ready.
Jaws follows Police Chief Martin, played by Roy Scheider, who takes on a case after a woman is mysteriously killed in the ocean, believing it to be a shark attack, but the mayor dismisses this idea and keeps the beach open until a child is killed in broad daylight right in front of everybody. The beach is closed as a bunch of schmucks go out shark hunting and actually bring one back, but it's not the right one, which isn't enough to convince the mayor, who reopens the beach despite Martin and shark expert Matt, played by Richard Dreyfuss, pleading otherwise. More deaths take place because the mayor still refuses to close the beach, and even when it's open, he begs people to go in the ocean, which makes no sense.
Nobody's going in. Please, gentlemen.
His argument is that the town's losing money by the beach being closed, but what is not going in the water going to do? Nothing. That's what.
Absolutely nothing.
So he forces people to go swimming, despite admitting his own kids were even there.
Martin, my kids were on that beach too.
So that means you're a bigger dick. Eventually, Martin and Matt join forces with shark hunting professional Quint, played by Robert Shaw, and the trio head out on a mission to kill the Great White and save the town. Some producers at Universal originally heard of the Peter Benchley novel of the same name and actually read it all in one night, calling it the most exciting thing they had ever read, and immediately wanted a film adaptation but weren't sure how it could be done. In 1973, they successfully acquired the movie's rights and considered John Sturges to direct, before instead offering it to Dick Richards. Dick Richards. So his name is technically Dick.
That's not funny. That's not funny at all.
However, the producers were annoyed at the director constantly confusing sharks for whales and dropped him from the project. Meanwhile, Steven Spielberg was really keen to take on the job after he also read the novel, and he was hired in June of 1973. However, he started to have second thoughts, worrying that he'd be typecast as a truck and shark director. He was going to move on to Lucky Lady instead, but Universal used a contract to force him to continue, promising him that he can make whatever he wants afterwards. The film was given a budget of $3.5 million and would have 55 days to shoot, beginning in May of 1974. The director wanted to stick with the novel's plot and erase many of the subplots, as his favourite part was the shark hunt at the end. I'd like to do the picture if I can change the first two acts and base them on original screenplay material, and then be very true to the book for the last third. However, when purchasing the book rights, they promised the author the power to write the first draft of the screenplay. He came up with 3 before it was passed on to more writers, which were then passed on to Spielberg. The author admitted, based on the finished film, that his contribution was only the storyline and the ocean stuff, confessing that he did not know how to put the character texture into a screenplay. In the original novel, Martin's wife was actually to have an affair with Matt, but Spielberg removed it, worrying that it would make the characters more unlikable. You think?
No.
During rewrites, Spielberg, with the help from some additional writers, came up with Martin's character also having a fear of the water. Rewrites pretty much took place during shooting, each scene being finished the night before it was filmed, and many actors had the ability to improvise, including the famous line itself, which we'll get onto later. Spielberg also avoided casting big-known actors so the film would be more relatable, making the audience truly believe these things could happen to normal people like you or me. It can happen to anyone. Shooting began on May 2, 1974 on the island of Martha's Vineyard, Massachusetts, and the models of the famous sharks actually required 14 operators to control the entire thing. The movie went a whopping $5 million over budget due to issues with the mechanics, though Spielberg took the blame himself, calling it his own perfectionism and inexperience's fault. He insisted on filming at sea and nowhere else, which caused problems as many sailboats often came in at the shot or the cameras got soaked. Their own boat actually began to sink at one point with the actors on board. The mechanical sharks often malfunctioned, there was bad weather. Spielberg estimated during their 12-hour shoots, on average, only about 4 were spent actually filming.
That's just great!
One of the writers was nearly decapitated by the boat's propellers at one point. Richard Dreyfuss was almost trapped inside the cage. Cast and crew were often very seasick. Robert Shaw had to return to Canada constantly because of tax problems in addition to his alcohol issues. It was a nightmare production, to the point the crew nicknamed the film Flaws. However, due to mechanical issues, Spielberg often improvised and ended up not showing the shark and only hinting at it, showing the barrels tied to it instead, a clever way to build suspense. The film went from a Japanese Saturday matinee horror flick to more of a Hitchcock the less you see the more you get thriller. The shark not working was a godsend. It made me become more like Alfred Hitchcock than like Ray Harryhausen. The acting became more crucial for making audiences believe in such a big shark. The more fake the shark looked in the water, the more my anxiety told me to heighten the naturalism of the performances.
That makes a lot of sense.
The original 55-day shoot was scrapped, wrapping up on October the 6th, 1974, 159 days after beginning. I thought my career as a filmmaker was over. I heard rumours that I would never work again because no one had ever taken a film 100 days over schedule before. The director no-showed the last day of filming where the shark explodes because he was sure the crew were going to throw him in the ocean afterwards. This actually became a tradition for Spielberg to not be present for the last day of production for his movies. Legendary John Williams composed the score, which earned him an Academy Award, as well as being selected as the 6th greatest score in history by the AFI. The movie had a rough cut shown on April the 24th, 1975, and when Universal Chairman Lou Wasserman saw it, he instantly demanded its release. I want this picture to run all summer long. I don't want people in Palm Springs to see the picture in Palm Springs. I want them to have to get in their cars and drive to see it in Hollywood.
I didn't agree to that.
The film opened up on June the 20th, 1975 and ended up grossing a staggering $470.7 million, becoming the first ever movie to earn $100 million in theatrical rentals. It was the highest grossing film in history for only 2 years until Star Wars came out, and it is now currently the 127th highest grossing ever. It's a sensationally effective action picture, a scary thriller that works all the better because it's populated with characters that have been developed into human beings. Spielberg's directorial skills really shine, and Robert Shaw's performance is absolutely magnificent. It's the most cheerfully perverse scare movie ever made, with more zest than an early Woody Allen picture. A lot more electricity, and it's funny in a Woody Allen sort of way. If you found this movie funny, you have a very warped sense of humour.
I wanted you to know that.
Spielberg is blessed with a talent that is absurdly absent from most American filmmakers these days. This man actually knows how to tell a story on screen. It speaks well of this director's gifts that some of the most frightening sequences in Jaws are those where we don't even see the shark. It's an exhilarating adventure entertainment of the highest order. The acting is tremendous, as are the extraordinary technical achievements. I love the nerve-wracking action scenes. For the most part, Jaws is a gripping horror film that works beautifully in every department. But some people gotta be different.
Jesus H. Christ.
It's a measure of how the film operates that not once do we feel particular sympathy for any of the shark's victims. In the best films, characters are revealed in terms of the action. In movies like Jaws, characters are simply functions of the action, like stagehands who move props around and deliver information when it's necessary. I actually felt sympathy for these characters because they actually had character development and built likability on them in many scenes. If you still wanted them to die, maybe it tells more about your personality and that you're a sadist and an arsehole who just wants people to die more than anything else.
You got any better suggestions?
I highly disagree with the film's PG rating. Jaws is too gruesome for children and likely to turn the stomach of the impressionable at any age. It is a coarse-grained and exploitative work which depends on excess for its impact. Ashore it is a bore, awkwardly staged and lumpily written. Wait, Jaws was PG? Seriously, this was actually PG. How the hell was this ever considered PG worthy? Okay, I'm on his side for that, Jesus. Except for the boring, awkwardly staged and lumpily written part.
Not too good, is it, Chief?
While Jaws is eminently worth seeing for its second half, I feel like before the protagonist's pursuit of the shark, the film is often flawed by its busyness. Jaws is a mind-numbing repast for sensated gluttons and filmmaking of this essentially manipulative sort. It's nothing more than a scare machine that works with computer-like precision. You feel like a rat being given shock therapy. Isn't the point of horror movies to scare you?
What are you talking about?
Marcia McGill also slated how fake the shark looked and the fact that we only see it close up once. Maybe because it looked fake, that's the reason we only got one really close-up shot. Except for, all these other times. If not for Spielberg's deathly suspenseful direction, we would be doubled over with laughter at the cheesiness of the animatronic creature. Despite genuinely suspenseful and frightening sequences, it is a slackly narrated and sometimes flatly handled thriller with an overabundance of dialogue and when it finally appears, a pretty unconvincing monster.
A what?
Jaws went on to win 3 Academy Awards for Best Film Editing, Best Original Score and Best Sound. Spielberg was furious at not even being nominated for Best Director, and even filmed this video watching the nominations. Yeah, Steven Spielberg filmed the first ever reaction video.
Time for me to make money off your hard work.
And Milo swore.
Oh, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. I wasn't nominated. I got beaten out by Fellini.
That's first of all,
Fellini. I can't believe this. The Godfather was nominated for Best Picture and won, but the director, Bob Fosse of Cabaret, won. That's bullshit. You cannot have the Best Picture unless the director is also nominated. Who made the picture? Somebody's mother?
the director.
This man made yours. Are you kidding? Who's kidding who around here?
This is a dark day in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Sun is shining, but this is a very
This is a dark day for our pal.
The greatest picture of all time was made, and they haven't recognized the
director. Who made it? The shark? It's a matter of logic. Who made the Best Picture?
All right, enough. Only 4 what?
Best picture, best editing, best score, and sound. And that's it.
That's it?
We named
Best
every-
screenplay?
Not even special effects.
Not even special effects? This is called commercial backlash.
John Williams also picked up a Grammy, BAFTA and Golden Globe, and the picture scooped up a Favourite Movie People's Choice Award. The AFI selected it as the 48th greatest film in history, which later dropped to 56th, listing the shark as the 18th best villain ever. That's a bit weird. I mean, it's not like the shark sits in a chair and devises an evil plot or something.
That doesn't prove a damn thing.
The famous line,
"You're gonna need a bigger boat,"
was selected as the 35th greatest movie quote, and it was picked as the 2nd greatest thriller, only losing to Psycho. The Chicago Film Critics Association picked it as the 6th scariest movie ever, Empire ranked it as the 5th greatest film with Quint as the 50th best movie character, and Bravo picked this scene as the scariest movie moment in cinema history. Jaws, in my mind, is easily one of the scariest horror movies ever made.
Thank you very much.
This is, in my mind, the film that shows Spielberg's true genius. With intense POV shots of the shark to the fact we don't see the actual thing until over an hour in, to the point we mostly just get implications of the monster rather than see it itself. It took the less you see aspect, which had been done before, we'll get to that, and revolutionized it on a much grander scale. It's a horror film that didn't care about killing kids, it goes all out and massacres them, but unlike so many horror slashes where the deaths take place in a secluded area cut away from civilization, this one is smack dab in front of everybody. It does not care. The cutting to and away from the monster adds to the suspense, and I will happily say, this film is purely terrifying. Maybe it's because I myself have a phobia of the water, so add a shark to the mix and it horrifies me even more, but it plays on your fears. It has you on the edge of your seat as you root for these characters to rush to get to safety. Not only is it a damn scary film, but it has great character development for the 3 protagonists, so you care more. Martin is really likeable, you want him to come out on top, and the final showdown is so intense, and he is so badass.
Because I haven't fixed the flu yet. Tell him I'm going fishing.
Matt has a heart of gold, and you really feel like he just wants to help, but is quite short-tempered when people don't cooperate. Although, sometimes he's a bit strange.
Proves that you wealthy college boys don't have the education enough to admit when you're wrong.
Oh, he sure showed him. I guess he's been taking comeback lessons from the Scarecrow.
Stuff a mattress with me. Heh.
And Quint is a bit of a dick at first, but is a very real person. He's very human and shows some likability towards the end, even resulting in him and Matt becoming friends after clashing earlier on. Side note, the actors actually hated each other in real life. Quint's introduction is also incredibly badass. And this speech, which apparently is somewhat improvised, is amazing. Although here he turns into Tommy Lee Jones.
Head up! Infected! I bring the instruments here and I'm gonna wipe that fucking scalp off the face of the fucking earth. This is the last fucking thing I do.
Oh, and also...
Shark!
Acting! There's a scene where the plot comes to a complete halt and they sit and chat for a while, but the difference between this and the likes of Ben-Hur and The Godfather Part 2 is simple. This actually does have a purpose. All in one sequence as they drink and bond and have a laugh, Matt and Quint become close. They all share their previous shark experiences, they all have one last moment of happiness before everything goes crazy, and it gives the audience a breather before the insane third act that follows. It's beautiful storytelling which Spielberg excels at. It also distracts you for a moment from the main plot, so when the shark attacks the ship, you get right back into the fear mode again. The film was such a big impact in Hollywood, it even created the cliche fake out with not one, not two, but 3 variations of it. Now, and speaking of invented cliches.
You son of a...
Just waiting for everybody to steal and butcher it. The shark is so strong it rips off parts of a pier, and then we see it just following the man swimming back to shore. It's things like this that in my mind make it one of the scariest films ever, especially because it's a movie that could actually be real. These things could actually happen. When Matt is in the cage, the shark originally goes past and ignores him, only to come back and surprise him. It's completely realistic, intelligent, predatory behaviour, and it's so well written. The musical score is amazing, but very often they fight the shark with none at all, adding to the realism and the sheer terror of what's taking place on the screen. There's a sequence where they've sent a reel out to sea and it starts being tugged on. Quint notices but doesn't tell anyone, and it's intense as hell. You really get caught up in it. When he's about to say the famous line, Martin's reaction is so good. He sees the huge shark but nobody else does, and it's so tense. But despite how awesome and scary Jaws is, it still does have some very stupid moments.
What do you say, Chief?
In the very first scene at a beach party, a guy and girl who've barely met exchange a look and a small smile. Then she runs off, he gives chase, and she asks to go skinny dipping immediately. And women say men are easy and just want sex. The shark attacks her, but weirdly she's flinging around panicking for quite a while before it even does anything. I mean, is the shark just toying around with her? Oh look, legs, just tickle him, I'm not really gonna do anything. I swear to God, if this dog gets eaten, I will pull a complete 180 and crap all over this movie. Actually, we never see the dog again, and it's never acknowledged or answered what the hell happened to it, so we can just assume that yes, the dog was eaten. Screw you, Spielberg.
I'm sorry, I'm truly sorry.
When they close the beach because of shark attacks, for some reason the families are angry about this. How dare you protect us from becoming shark chow? The mayor even says they'll only close it for 24 hours, and somebody actually says,
24 hours is like 3 weeks!
Are these people seriously that obsessed with the ocean that they can't go a single day without it? For the sake of surviving. And Martin's wife knows the shark is around and still lets the son out on a boat in the ocean. What kind of mother are you?
Martin, it's his birthday tomorrow.
Which means it's okay for him to be eaten?
Did you hear your father? Out of the water now!
Hey, Logic, glad you could make it.
The officer asked me to tell you that you're overloading that boat.
You ain't going, man. What do you care?
Hold on.
Well, then, can you tell me if there's a good restaurant or hotel on the island?
You walk straight ahead.
They're all gonna die.
Best line of the entire movie. The weird thing is, Martin is blamed and not the mayor. And even worse, he takes the blame for the beach not being closed and says it was his fault. What the hell were these writers on when they came up with this scene? It makes no sense. Matt is also completely insane. They come across an abandoned boat in the area where they know the shark likes to hunt, and he dives beneath the water there. Oh my god, it's a head! In an area where we know the shark hunted, an abandoned boat, which mysteriously has no crew aboard it. So we shouldn't really be shocked. But, by the way, why didn't the shark eat the head? He even goes in a cage under the water to confront the shark, and when attacked, he's still stabbing at the prick. Badass. But he somehow manages to swim away, and only then do they pull the cage up. What took him so long? Hey, do you wonder what Matt's doing down there? I mean, he could be doing anything, you know, this is just... Hey, look at the clouds. The clouds look really nice today. So are you going to watch Oprah later? Yeah, you got any plans for the weekend? Aren't we supposed to be doing something? No, I can't really remember. I can't help but find the mayor's character completely over the top. As explained, no matter what happens, he still wants the beach open, even when his own kids are in danger. I know politicians can be greedy, self-centered douchebags, but this is beyond ridiculous. They even try to make out like the mayor had the town's best interest at heart, which Martin even reiterates, but no he didn't, not once. Why do they constantly go out shark hunting on really small boats, knowing damn well the shark can easily destroy small boats? When the kids fake out with a plastic fin, why didn't they shoot it since they assumed it was the real one? He crushes a small plastic cup and then acts like it's such a badass thing to do.
Hey, see that?
You're wearing a sweater.
Right there. Mary Ellen Moffat. She broke my heart.
The only time that line will ever work.
You're breaking my heart.
No.
Quint, if we can get close enough, I've got things on board that'll kill him.
Just want to goose him up, come on.
Well, yeah. That's generally the idea. I mean, what do you think you've been doing for the past 97 minutes? He, spurts out this idea as if it's something unique and innovative. Hey, guys, that shark that's been killing everyone, I've got some things that will kill it. Yes? Yeah, that's the plan. Good job. What do you think he was going to do? Take it home as a pet?
I don't think so.
I must say, though, yes, the shark looks fake, but the blood effects and the sounds of the bones crunching, Quint and Martin's acting, this scene is absolutely petrifying to witness, and I honestly love it. However, the film does completely misrepresent sharks altogether. From what I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but sharks aren't malicious killers. They feel the vibrations from the splashes and believe it to be sea life when they attack. Now, the film does fine not showing them as particularly malicious, cold-blooded killers at the start, but even if I'm wrong, they're not goddamn serial killers like the third act depicts. As exciting and heart-pounding as it is not accurate to the shark's behaviour. I mean, he hunts these humans down like there's no tomorrow and takes them out like he's Jason goddamn Voorhees. He just won't give up on these guys. Yeah, Sharky! And somehow Matt survives and he decided to just chill out while Martin took on the shark single-handedly like a lazy, selfish, cowardly douchebag. Loads of people died and we're stranded at sea. Seriously, there is no way they paddled all the way back to shore. Especially without being attacked again. I mean, they caught 2 sharks in that ocean, so what's stopping them from being attacked one more time?
It's happened before.
Not only did Jaws pave the way for monster films, water-based movies, and many other rip-offs, but it was also the beginning of summer blockbusters becoming a thing as well as Star Wars. And it also spawned 3 horrendous sequels that made the original effects look like goddamn Jurassic Park in comparison. With stupid characters, retreading plot points, awful 3D effects, no decent scares, and a complete waste of time. Just stick to the original. Enjoy the great tension, compelling story, terrifying horror, and don't go back in the water. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, I'm reviewing every film in the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die 2016 edition book, so make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with them and also turn on notifications to be alerted for each episode. You can vote for which film to be reviewed next at the link in the description. What do you think of Jaws? Let me know about it in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. This voice is killing me. I'm filming this at 1:30 in the morning.